Looks as though I'm live. Hello everybody, it's Friday again. I'm Paul Ducklin again, and this is Naked Security Live again. I hope you can hear me, and what I really hope is that you'll hear some of the cuckoos that are singing in the background, telling us that summer really has arrived at last. And I'll just apologise in advance. I brought my spare phone today so that I could show you some pictures of what we're going to talk about, which are the latest trend, the latest rave for the crooks in online delivery scams. But unfortunately, due to the reflection of the sunlight, when I hold it up to the phone that's taking the photographs, all you can see is a reflection of a reflection of a reflection. So I'll use this to refer to. I'll try and keep track of what's on the screen, but it's gorgeously bright. I'm not complaining, but if I can't read your comments, it's just because of the sunshine. So let's crack on. As you can see from today's title, it's online scams and how to deal with them. The reason I thought this would be really worth talking about today, even though we've talked about it before, is my own personal experience and the experience of the group of email addresses we have in the Naked Security team. Yours could be different, but I suspect they may be similar, is that delivery scams have really taken an uptick lately. I'm getting absolutely loads of them. Now I have some spare old Sophos email addresses from when I've worked in other offices, so I kind of get more spam than most people, but particularly my Australian email address, I still have that active. That's getting absolutely loads of this stuff, but our normal sophos.com ones are getting huge amounts as well in all sorts of languages. Quite a lot, most of them in English, but surprisingly an enormous number that are in the German language too. And the thing about these delivery scams is you've probably experienced them. They work in the following way, and I've got some guests. Hello folks, how are you? No, it's great. Like we're allowed to socialise. Like, is it 1-to-1 now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of lockdown's nearly over. Have a good one. Oh, there's some guys walking. As you can see in the background, that's the River Thames. So there's a beautiful walking path just nearby. Some chaps going past, enjoying the lovely day. They could hear her talking about scams, but I hope they're not going to get hit themselves. So with lots of us at home, some of us forced to stay at home, particularly the elderly, forced to stay at home for even longer than the rest of us, that are not allowed out at all. We're relying on home deliveries a lot. And of course, the crooks have always loved delivery scams, and now they're milking them for ages. So the most recent one we wrote about on Naked Security, if you want to see what they look like, go to nakedsecurity.sophos.com and have a look. Just search for DHL. That one, it was no fault of DHL's. They did nothing wrong. It was just that they're a well-known brand in the courier game, and therefore their brand was hijacked. It's very easy for the crooks to copy their logo, their font, and their color scheme. And the one thing we've noticed, I'll read you that email. Let me just open it up here on the phone that I was going to show them on. So that one says, I'm reading this out of the Naked Security article, DHL Express, incoming package notification, dear, our name was here. This is to notify that an incoming shipment is registered to your email address. Follow the URL below to track your shipment. So you'll see that a lot of the angst and anxiety, and you've got only a limited time, and you better hurry, and your bank account's going to get hacked, and you better do this. The crooks have learned to back off from that a little bit. They're just saying, here's a delivery, click for more details. And of course, as soon as you click through, you're at a page that looks very much the same. It has the same logo, the same branding. In fact, in this case, it shares one of the mistakes, that there's a spelling mistake on the main, on the email that's copied in the website. But the point is, when you click through, it kind of looks like what you'd expect. And courier companies often do give you tracking links in emails or in SMSs, and you go through. But of course, the trick is it says, great, to track the parcel, now you have to log in. And as you know, when you put in your password, you're going to the wrong place. See a comment? Let me just come in. Good morning from sunny Phoenix. Well, good afternoon or good early evening from very sunny Oxfordshire. If you missed the beginning, Karen, that's not the seaside. I'm not at the beach, but I'm about one step away from the river, so I have to be really careful if I step backwards. And again, buttercups in the background, because all around here buttercups go with cow pasture, and all around here is where cows and calves are at the moment. So that was a DHL example, and as you can see, if you've got friends and family, maybe even you have vulnerable people in amongst your friends and family, and you're sending them stuff, they don't necessarily know which courier company is going to deliver an order that they've placed, and so when they receive a message, it may just by coincidence tie with something they're expected, and you can imagine them, oh, I'll click through, great, log in, let's see how this is going, and by then it's too late. So let me find you some other examples of what we've been seeing lately, which are more, whoops, I think I've managed to lock my phone. I'd not do that. My phone is locked and it's so bright I can't see to unlock it. So let me just tell you the things we've had. The other ones we've had are, there's a package for you. It's a free gift that you've won. One of them was an iPod Air, and it was at an airport, and there's a delivery charge. We've also got examples of this. Just search for free MacBook or free iPod or something like that on Naked Security. You'll find examples of these scams. And if somebody said they're going to send you a gift, or if you think, hey, I entered some online competition, maybe I did win after all, you can see why it might be tempting to click the link. And of course, in that case, they're not after a password. What they're after is you to pay us the delivery charge, without which the delivery cannot be completed. And typically, the amount is kept very low. The idea being that I think a lot of people, particularly if they've not done online ordering before, if they've heard about online scams, they hear about people going down for hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands or millions of dollars, and they kind of imagine, you may have heard this from friends and family, that no crook is going to bother scamming me for $3. Of course, they're not planning to put a charge against your card at all. They're just planning to get you to put in your card details. Then they'll put up a bogus error message saying there was a hassle with the transaction, please try again later, or please try another card. They're really hoping that you'll give them more details. And it all ends in a believable looking error message, but of course you've handed over your password to the crooks. And another example is a delivery that might be something that it seems like you've ordered, and sometimes the crooks do put in a little squeeze in there. They say, if you don't complete this within, say, 48 hours, then the delivery will be cancelled. And, you have to start again from the top. And that means you'll have to make contact with them, and it'll all be quite difficult. So sometimes there is a bit of a squeeze, but increasingly, in amongst the scams that we're seeing, it does seem that an increasing proportion are just saying, click here to track your parcel. Exactly what you'd expect with a legitimate delivery. And the last thing we're seeing a lot of mixed in with this, and the reason we know that is we're seeing people searching for these terms on Naked Security because presumably they're afraid, are things that talk about scams that have already happened, or scams that are going on right now that you need to be afraid of, where the whole scam is made up. It's a hoax. The scam couldn't possibly have happened as the hoax declares it. We've particularly seen a few of these lately on WhatsApp rather than via other mediums, and the idea is that what maybe somebody started this with the best intention, and the idea is, please tell everybody. There's one about, there's a new banking scam where it comes from, I think that the bank is Danske Bank. Search the City of London police. They put out a warning for it. That's what the hoax tells you. And if you go to the City of London police website, what you'll see is a warning you that this is a complete hoax. Please don't spread it. So there's no money in this for anybody. It probably started with someone who had a legitimate fear, who'd heard something from a friend of a friend of a friend. And believe me, folks, we have enough fake news at the moment without contributing to that. So mixed in amongst all these scams are scams about scams that may not have started with evil intention, but are kind of distracting people. And worse still, if you forward a hoax talking about a super terrible scam, and all you have to do is read the message, and all you have to do is this, that, and the other, and then people learn, oh, that scam's a hoax, it actually loosens them up a little bit for scams that are better thought out by the crooks. So what I want to do, I'll just step in, try not to fall in the river. Oh, Teresa, I'm really liking the hair these days. Yes, somebody at work said that the other day. I don't know quite how long it's going to get until the barbers reopen in the UK, but we'll see. So what I want to do very quickly, this is not really for you guys who are listening now. Maybe it's for you to be able to explain this to friends and family who are struggling with the idea of not having done online ordering before, not having heard these warnings before. They don't know whether to be so afraid that they won't accept home deliveries even when they could be very useful and valuable, or just figure, you know what, I've heard that there are so many hoaxes out there that this is probably bogus, I'm just going to go with the flow, and maybe they get taken in anyway. So here are I've got 5 tips. I have my notes here. Normally I peg them to the just under the phone, but the wind's blowing today and I couldn't keep it still enough. So pardon me if I'm looking down to read them. So I've got 5 tips. I like having things in 3s or 5s, occasionally 4s. So there really are 5 this time, not 5 masquerading as 3. 5 tips. The first one is, don't be fooled by your expectations. These days, lots of us are expecting home deliveries. If you've ordered something or somebody's ordered something for you, it's probably going to come with a delivery company. They probably are going to message you in advance. They probably do have your email address or your phone number, so they can contact you just in case. So the fact that you get a message that says there's a delivery doesn't mean there is. So try and know what you should expect. And if you're sending something to somebody else, even if it's a surprise, let them know so that they don't get taken in by the fact that they don't reject things that they should be accepting or accept things that they should be rejecting. The second tip is don't bother with links in things that call themselves notifications. Now, I know real courier companies do this for convenience, but if you think about it, in those notifications, that link is only there, as I said, for convenience. You don't need to use it. If you've placed the order yourself, you should know which courier company is going to send you the stuff, and you probably have a tracking code already, and you probably have from previous correspondence a web page or a link that you can bookmark and go to yourself. And if you go there and you do log in legitimately with your password, use a password manager, that helps you avoid putting the right password in the wrong site, and you see that there is in fact no delivery pending, then hey, guess what? You just beat the scammers at their own game. So you should never need to click a link if it's just a notification. And if you don't know what courier company is being used, then if somebody's told you they're sending a delivery, contact that person whom you know, and don't rely on links that come in emails, because the link could have come from anybody and very probably did. So the third tip is, if there is a URL and you do think you need to use it, check that URL really carefully. You can hover over the link in an email and that will pop the link up, or after you've clicked it, you can look at the link in your address bar. And by the way, we've given this advice before. It's a little bit painful and it's a little bit more annoying and it takes a little bit longer, but it can help you a lot. If you get the message on your phone, and that's why I think the crooks often use SMS rather than email, is they know you're going to get SMS on your phone, whereas email you might get on your laptop, you might get on your phone. If you get the link on your phone, be prepared to go in and check it out. Take the time to go and log in from a regular computer if you can. Use a regular browser, because you've got a much more screen real estate and the address bar shows you a lot more, and in most browsers it's much easier to convince yourself that the site is the correct one and not some made up one. So for example, that DHL scam I talked about at the beginning, if you hover over the link, it comes up with a link. It's a .com address, and it kind of it's a completely legitimate site, but it's a name of a company. It's written in English, but it's an Arabic name for a company. It's actually a building cleaning company in Bahrain, as it happens. And those guys, sadly, they got hacked, and their site was being used as the jumping off point. So from that domain, there was actually no obvious connection with DHL whatsoever. So you should have been very suspicious just from the link alone, either in the email or when you get to the site. The fourth tip is, I've said this before, and I'm not saying it because I work for a computer security company. I'm just saying it because it's good practice. And there are lots of free tools these days for desktop, laptop, and mobile phones, including stuff from Sophos. You can go to nakedsecurity.sophos.com. In every article you'll find a bar at the bottom that says free tools. Have a look there. If you use a decent antivirus that includes real-time web filtering, then you will help to protect yourself against this kind of scam. Because firstly, if somebody tries to send you malware, it should get detected and discarded, so you won't be able to run it by mistake. And secondly, it means that if you do click through to a link which is dubious, then you've got some technology watching your back. It won't protect you from every possible attack, but it can go a long way towards forewarning you that you're going where angels fear to tread. So a good antivirus, look for one that can detect known and unknown threats, but importantly also one that provides you with a measure of web filtering, because as I said, that stops you going in the wrong sort of place. And the fifth tip I want to give you, the last one, this is if it all goes wrong. Like if you get to a website, if you put in your card details or your password or any personal information, even if it's just a survey and you've only put in, say, your phone number and your email address, if you realize, well, actually, ignore that remark, as you'll see in a moment, because what I'm suggesting is that if you realize after you've put something in a website that you couldn't trust the website. If you think you have put your password into a phishing site, go and change your password immediately. If you think you've put your card number, in particular if you put the number on the back of the card, the CVV, the special code that isn't recorded on the strip or in the chip, it's just printed, if you put that in, call your bank immediately and don't use a number that you got in the email. Turn the card over, there'll be a fraud reporting number, use that immediately. Because remember, the way these phishing crooks work, they know that these days people are on the ball. If they realize they've been tricked, they'll do something about it. So they try and abuse your password. They'll try and abuse your credit card number as quickly as they can, or sell it on to somebody else for immediate use. So the sooner you act, if you have made a mistake, the sooner you can bring things back into your control by making sure the card number or the password you gave them is completely worthless. So those are the simple 5 tips. Go through them again. Don't be fooled by what you're expecting. Avoid following links in notifications. Find your own way to the courier or the delivery site, because that way you won't be relying on links that could be fraudulent. Check the URL carefully. Measure twice, cut once, as carpenters say. It can really save you a lot of trouble. Use a decent antivirus, preferably one with a built-in web filter. And if you do think you've put personal details like passwords into a fake site, go and change the password as soon as you can. I'm just stepping in to have a quick look at comments. Andy, wish I could make it to VB in Dublin. Who knows if it will go ahead? Who knows if I will be there? But if you do, look forward to seeing to you. Oh, somebody's saying it's easy. Margaret Green, can't read where you're from because the comment's cut off. It's easy to check what the correct email address is by clicking on it. Amazon scams come from something like, and then I can't read the email address. That's very, very frequently the case. Now, by the way, what we have seen lately, particularly with sextortion scams, if you go on to nakedsecurity.sophos.com and read some of the comments, there are loads of people going, I hate these guys, they're accusing me of watching porn, they're blackmailing me, they're demanding money, I want to spam them back. And they're saying, and the person who sent this scam to me, their email address is so-and-so, let's all pile it. Believe me, that's not the crook's real email address. So if you do recognize a scam, because you recognize that the email address is bogus, please don't reply to it to teach the person a lesson. Firstly, if you say something you later regret, you could get into trouble because you have sent that email yourself. And secondly, you're almost certainly not talking to the crooks. You're probably talking to some innocent person whose email just happens to appear on a spammers list. So be careful about vigilantism online. It can so very, very, very easily go wrong. And last one, Karen, as always, stay safe, brackets, health and security. Couldn't have put it better myself, Karen. Stay safe, health and security, folks. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay secure and enjoy the river while I click finish on the video. I missed again. Facebook, make the button bigger, please.